Welcome to Humans of Animal Care, a collection of audio stories that highlight people who've dedicated themselves to helping animals. Today we'll be hearing from Max Karp, an animal care specialist who studied aquatic biology, went through zoo school, and is currently working with marine mammals. We learn about the journey Max took to figure out his career goals. We'll discuss the topics of training animals and dealing with euthanasia. We also find out Max's favorite animal that he's worked with so far.
My name is Max, and I am an animal care specialist working with marine mammals at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. Like beginning of elementary school, maybe even before that. I remember for my fifth grade yearbook photo, they had us put down what our future career dream goal was, and mine said zookeeper. I did start my higher education at UC Santa Barbara doing aquatic biology, and then during my time there, I worked with wild animals doing rescue and rehab. But what really got me to where I am now is my time spent at Moorpark Community College doing the zoo school there, the EATM program while I was there.
EATM is spelled EATM and stands for Exotic Animal Training and Management. The name recently changed to Animal Care and Training, abbreviated ANCT, and the program is based out of the teaching zoo at Moorpark College in Southern California.
I decided to enroll purely because I didn't know what else to do. I had just graduated from Santa Barbara, and all I had really gotten from that career wise is that I knew I did not want to pursue research. And so I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what the options were. I didn't know how to get to those. And then I heard about the zoo school, and so I decided to enroll. And I had a fantastic time there. It was a very grueling 2 years, but I learned an incredible amount about animal care and what the job would look like wherever I ended up. I gained the skills necessary to set me up for success at any animal career I would have ended up in. I enjoyed the research at UC Santa Barbara. I thought it was very cool. I loved writing research papers and reading research papers, performing the research, setting up the experiment and whatnot. I just realized I don't think I had that really meticulous mind necessary to conduct what I thought was proper research. I probably could have gone into it, but I don't think I would have been able to produce any work that I would have been satisfied with. So like I did enjoy it. I knew that it was not right for me. I don't think I would have had as much fun as I am having working hands-on with animals directly.
The EATM program has some prerequisites, which Max completed while he was applying. The program accepts students on a lottery basis, so education and experience levels don't affect a person's chances of getting in. Some people will continue to apply until they get in because that's how badly they want to go through the program. Luckily, Max was accepted the first time he applied.
So the first year of the program, it was definitely more school-based, classes-based, and so we were still coming in at 6:30 with the second year students to help clean. After that, while the second years went to go feed the animals that they were responsible for, then we would go take our classes, do our schoolwork, and then in between classes, we would spend our time on the zoo, helping out the second years, watching them, learning from them. And then there was general volunteer work that we could do as first years, helping out with facility maintenance. And then also there were handler animals that we were able to take care of, but then also hang out with, provide quality time, enrichment. And those were on days that we were not open to the public. And then weekends when we were open to the public, the first years were pretty much responsible for running the shows, running any merch booths, the ticket booth, talking to the public, interacting, educating them, hanging out, helping out, cleaning the zoo, taking out the trash and stuff like that. A lot of maintenance stuff. So that was our first year, and then our second year is when we still had classes, but it was more animal based. And so, like I said, we came in 6:30 cleaned, and then we'd go off to feed our animals, medicate those that needed medication, clean other animals that you can only clean if you had a relationship with that animal. And then we still had some classes, So we had to squeeze in between classes, the feeds, taking animals out that needed to go on walks or birds that needed to get flown. We would take animals out off of zoo grounds to do meet and greets, guest interactions. We would do outreach programs to help educate the public outside of the zoo. And it was also a lot of, not just maintaining the animals that we were caring for, their well-being, but also like raising those standards, learning from the second years that came before us and doing anything we could, both by just learning about our animals' personalities as individuals, and we'd use that to help increase their well-being, the quality of life, but also, researching that animal as a species, seeing if there's anything or what other facilities are doing, so that every year they kind of builds up on itself and it keeps improving. I didn't know about training really before the zoo program. Like I knew it existed, but I didn't know anything about it. And then when I started, I was learning a lot about like husbandry behaviors, the behaviors in which the animals help participate in their own healthcare. And that makes like medical stuff, keeping them healthy, happy, easy. So I really saw the importance of those behaviors, but I still did not quite support those fun show behaviors that you see in a lot of animal shows until it was described to me by a teacher of mine that those behaviors, they're not just fun for people to watch, but they are fun for the animals to perform. They're easy behaviors. You're not asking a whole lot in the sense of like trust based that you do with the husbandry behaviors. And that's how, one, you offset, you're not just asking husbandry behaviors of these animals, you're also giving them fun, free time, but it's also how you build that relationship with that animal so you can get to that trust point where they will go into a crate for you. They will hold still for an x-ray. How you build that trust and that kind of communication as to like, yes, when you participate in this session, be it a fun show behavior session or a slightly less fun husbandry session, at the end of it, I'm okay, you're okay, and you get food, treats, toys, something fun out of it. So the show behaviors, I would say, are almost as important as those husbandry behaviors is what I learned by the end of the program. It's a great form of mental stimulus, mental enrichment. They are thinking. It takes a lot of brain power, depending on the behavior you ask, depending on if you're working old ones, teaching new ones. So that's really great for those species that have a higher intelligence, like primates, marine mammals. They are incredibly smart and they really benefit from that constant thinking on their toes. But then also, it's like there are some enrichment items I've come to learn that you have to train the animals how to interact with them. And so then once they're trained, they can interact with that enrichment item on their own. But before the training, they don't know how to find it enriching, which I thought was really cool. I have even experienced that recently with marine mammals. Honestly, it was just like a big buoy that we put in the water for an animal that had not had it in a long time. And so it was new to them. They didn't know what it was. They didn't, they were a little nervous about it. They were avoiding it. And so you kind of just show them that one, it's not doing anything. And then two, when they're getting closer to it, when they interact with it, you give them fish. And so they kind of see interacting with it. They associate it with a reward until they can find it self-rewarding. I work with Northern Pacific harbor seals, California sea lions, and Asian small-clawed river otters. Those are the ones that I'm directly responsible for, but we do also help out other departments as well at the park. So I have been able to help work with some of the dolphins, some of the penguins we have, the stingrays. I've helped out with some of the giraffes we have, and I'm sure that in the future I will help out with some of the other ones. We have big cats, wolves, all kinds of birds. And so even though we're separate departments, we are all one facility. And so we all come together to help out where and as needed. I am learning so much every day that it's so beneficial. Definitely going to stay here for a while, but I think long term, I'm more interested in the medical aspect of animal care. And so I am hoping to go to vet tech school, become a licensed vet tech, so that way I can be more involved with the medical and husbandry and health aspects of the animals. As much as I love the training and feeding and whatnot, it's the x-rays, the taking blood, analyzing what's going on, stuff like that is what really piques my interest. So I think there's a lot of benefit going from being an animal trainer and then going into the veterinary field. I learn the medications that the animals I'm on that our vets prescribe to them. I learn what those medications are for and how they interact with each other. So I'm kind of getting a feel for that. I'm getting a feel for how to do some of these procedures on these animals, where to find the veins to get blood from, where to inject vaccines and any medications into them, how to get oral meds into them, stuff like that, sub-Q fluids, proper restraints of these animals I get to witness and help out with. But then a big part of it too, going from trainer to vet tech, is as a trainer, you learn like how to train those behaviors. And then as a vet tech, so you know the behaviors that you would need for those medical procedures. And you can kind of then advise the trainers that you're working with, like, hey, I need to do this treatment for this animal, this procedure on this animal. Can you train this behavior? So going from trainer to veterinary work, it's you kind of get the understanding of what behaviors are feasible to do voluntary husbandry stuff, how to get there, how long they might take, what other factors, new things that like you would need to include in the training that they might be scared of at first. So like what things you might need to get that animal used to.
If you're hoping to get into the animal field, but you're not sure how, this is Max's advice.
Just go and do it. Yeah, I got my degree in aquatic biology, and then I went to zoo school and got my degree in animal training and management. But that was just the path that I took. There is no one path to get into the field, and there are so many different positions in the field. You can get as hands-on or hands-off as you want. So yeah, my only advice really is just go out and try them out. That's what I did through zoo school. I managed in that one program to try out a lot of different aspects of it to find out what I enjoyed. But I have met so many people in the field who have gotten there in so many different ways at different times in their life, different stages of their life. Some of them took longer, some of them did shorter, but it's all about just putting yourself out there. I think pretty much the same as any other field. You just got to commit, try it out. The hardest part about working with animals is when an animal under your care gets sick, injured, or passes for whatever reason. Just dealing with that. To my experience, both personally and from what I've seen with other veteran animal care professionals, it does not get easier with time, and it's a very hard thing mentally, emotionally, and then physically as well, just the stress of it all. If your animal is sick or injured, that stress of hoping that they get better and then watching them go through that is very difficult. And when they pass, whether it's naturally or human assisted euthanasia, dealing with that in the moment and then afterwards is very difficult, especially when you have multiple animals that you're responsible for, and you can't let that one animal affect the care you give to the other animals who still need that care. So that's definitely the hardest part about working with animals, at least for me, but I think also for a lot of the people that I've worked with.
Dealing with euthanasia is definitely a tough part about this field, but there are healthy ways to cope and get through those difficult times.
Quality time with either the other animals under my care. I go over and I appreciate their well-being and them being there, and I hang out with them, let them know that I'm there for them and appreciate that they're there for me, but also my coworkers, both at this facility, at my previous facilities. Everyone is involved, everyone is invested in that animal that's not doing well. Everyone is having a hard time from it. And so everyone comes together and supports each other in all of the hard times that I've experienced. It's that has been the saving grace, is you always have the other people there with you, you have your other animals there with you, and at the end of the day you kind of have to convince yourself that you have done the best you could, that you're doing the best you can, and that you will continue to do your best. One of the best parts is the opposite of that is when your animals are doing well, it's just then you feel great. It's a very nice feeling to see that you're providing really great care for the animals, that they're doing well, that they're happy. But I would say my favorite part about working with animals personally is just the variety is just every day. I've worked with animals now for three or so years, and so far not a single day has been the same, boring. Every single day is new things, whether it's a new thing from the animal or a new thing that I'm trying with those animals. It's just such a very unique field in which it's just, yeah, every single day is something new, something different, and it really keeps you on your toes, but it also keeps you engaged, keeps you interested, keeps it fun.
Does Max have a favorite animal that he's worked with so far? Yes, he does.
My favorite, hands down, has been this turkey vulture that I worked with while at Moorpark City College at the teaching zoo there. His name is Puppy. He is an amazing old man, very old turkey vulture, but he just had so much character, so much personality that he was amazing to hang out with and work with and learn from and to teach him new stuff, but also in him being there for so long and him being so used to people, it took time to build that relationship. And I think that's also what made it so fulfilling, so worthwhile is like, yes, it's amazing when you meet an animal and they love you right away, but it's even more fulfilling when you had to put the work in to get that trust. Yeah, it feels much more fulfilling and worthwhile when you understand how much work was put into building that relationship to get you to where you are, which is sometimes easy to forget once you're there. But that was only a year I had with him, so it was a very prominent timeline of when we started and then when we got to where we were. Yeah, that was definitely the toughest goodbye I've had with an animal that I was just leaving. He's still alive. He's doing well. He's doing great. He let you know what was up. He, as a turkey vulture, they use their beaks to kind of communicate their bubbles. So I got bit a lot. He chewed up my hands and my arm pretty good. It was definitely very painful at times. I mean, and we did it as safely as possible. We had gloves, we had sleeves, but they have really strong beaks, so that didn't always completely do the trick. But it was a lot of time spent both feeding him, but also just hanging out near him. So he got used to me, used to my voice, how I looked, used to the idea that I was just there to take care of him, to feed him. And then it really did click one day. I went in with him and he didn't react. And so I got a little closer and he didn't react. And then I went over and hung out with him and he just kind of sat there with me, not biting me, not chewing on me. And that was the moment I knew. I was like, okay, we're friends now and we can start building the next chapter of this relationship. We'll get a little closer working relationship going on. And yeah, it was definitely that moment was quite amazing for me and hopefully for him too, but hard to say with them.
This has been Humans of Animal Care. Thanks for listening.